I have a few minutes to kill, so a quick video. Hopefully it will be quick. Further to what I said last night. I'm not going to go into details, but hello to everybody who's been in contact. The question, what can you do for me that God can't? If I've been managing thus far with nobody's assistance, what is it that you think you can do for me now? That is a question that you ask yourself. You don't need to give me an answer. Right, so a couple of things that might be useful for the beggar. There are people who are saying, oh, you know, God will do this and God will do that. How do you know what God will do? What relationship do you have with him? What conversation have you had with him? What did he tell you he's going to do something? Right, so this type of person I don't listen to. As well, people wishing my sister a recovery. My mother's ill as well, by the way, so it's not just my sister. But people sending on well wishes and prayers. It's like these are vain. If you don't have a contract with God, nothing's going to happen. It's a bit like you work for McDonald's, but you're going to Burger King to collect your wages. You get your wages from whoever you put your trust in, right? So I've said for me, I'm all about God. Now, one of the key things to getting things from God, which is why God doesn't work for some of you who in your mind believe that you're faithful believers and that you're true worshippers. I won't say Christians because, I have issues with that. With what a Christian is rather, and what they worship. I'm gonna tell you why it's not going right for you. You see, I thought that was spider. When you go to God, you go with the attitude of gimme, gimme, gimme. When I go to God, I tell him what's in it for him. I never go to God and say, give me this. I tell him what he will get in exchange for giving me this. Right? So, anybody who knows their stuff will know that we are supposed to glorify God, not ourselves. So it's like, for example, if somebody wants to be famous, most times people want to be famous so they can be glorified, so they can become like God, right? Rather than I want to be famous so that more people can hear the message. You will or even if sometimes people do that. Sometimes I've seen people trying to use God for fame, saying I'm doing this for God, when they're not. They're actually doing it for themselves. It's the same like doing a record for charity, but not really doing it for charity. They're doing it because it's going to give them more exposure. So the key point, and I touched on that in one of the videos earlier in the week, where I said it's about doing things with purity. So sometimes I will do something that I don't really want to do, but I'm upfront about it. I will say to God, I don't really fancy doing this, but it's a really sunny day today, so I don't have any problems going out in. I mean, it might be cold, but it's sunny and I'm all good with the sun. But if it was pouring down with rain, I would still keep my commitment, even if I didn't feel inclined to do it. One of the things that people would say, oh, that's just coincidence, whatever. But in my frequenting the hospital back and forth, oftentimes I go out there and traveling is a breeze. I get to the bus stop, the bus shows up. On the way back, I get to the bus stop, no waiting time. Even when it's raining, I don't get wet. The rain stops just enough for me to get from point A to point B without getting drenched. Right, so we have days like this, but I have been drenched in the past, and in that moment, that was to make a point. It was at the beginning when I just reconnected with Mother, and she kept, before my sister went into hospital, and she was going on and on and on. So it was just the drenching was just to make a point to her, to say, look, here I am, I'm going back and forth, I'm doing what I need to do, and I've just got drenched going, I'm getting off the bus, going to the chemist to pick up my sister's anti-nausea or anti-vertigo tablets. What do you want? Just to make that point. Sometimes he will do that. He'll put you in a situation so you can use it as an example. How many people do you know would be comfortable on a bus, get off, and pick up the prescription? Wouldn't they just wait until come back and say, "Oh, I didn't get off the bus because it was raining, and I can get them in the morning or something"? That's what most people would do. So if you're willing to put yourself out, sometimes you're put in certain positions or things happen to you, so it can be used as an example. So I can trade with people and I can say, there's a passage of scripture where it says, show me your faith and I will show you my works. There's a lot of people who talk, but you ask them to tell you what they've done, and they've got nothing to come back with, right? So, like I said, the mistake that people make when they go to God, they go begging, and they have nothing in exchange. They don't have anything to give God in exchange. It's like when you go to the shop, you don't go in and say, I want bread, I want milk, I want this and I want that, and off you go, right? You've got to give something in exchange for your purchases. You've got to hand over some money or pay by card or whatever you do. Nothing comes for free. So it's the same principle. When I don't know about anybody else, but anytime I approach God about anything, I tell him what's in it for him. And one day I will go into certain things and I will explain what's in it for him. Well, how I achieved or how I got something and what I did to get it. You hear about people in showbiz where they sell their soul to the devil. It's pretty much on the same level, but it's not for evil, it's for good. So it's like saying they paid a price, they sold their soul. You get nothing for free, nothing worthwhile comes easy, kind of thing. So if you want to look at it from the dark side, you will understand, because the devil is a imitation of God, but nothing for good. So if you want to know how you solicit God to get what you want, providing it's for a righteous purpose, then look at the way people solicit the devil to get what they want. We're talking about selling their souls, this, that, the other. So I find it quite fascinating. Like I said, speaking to people again who are offering me whatever they're offering me, what can you do for me that God can't do? And as well, how do you think I've been managing? I've managed thus far. What's changed? So, like I said, I wanted to keep this short and to the point, but a couple of things that I neglected to mention last night. I've said doctors depend on having sick people. In order for them to be relevant, they need people to be sick. But to make it more easily understood, or more easily understandable for simple minds, in the same way, police officers would be redundant if they weren't criminals. Road sweepers and bin men need rubbish to collect, right? So undertakers, I said this, they need dead bodies. Otherwise, they'll go out of business. So there are some people, some professionals who depend on bad things happening to people. Some of them, like I've said, if I put doctors and undertakers in the same category, that's my mindset, right? So I wouldn't look at anything and say, oh, well, worst case scenario, I can go to the doctor. And this is how a lot of people live their life. We've got a health service, and they look at it like a kind of safety net. So they do everything to destroy their health, and then they burden the health service. When I go into the hospital and I see people there, and I can look at them and I can see that they've had a long history of not looking after themselves. And I said to my sister yesterday, you shouldn't even be in here. And I told her, you need to get your mind and your spirit in order so that you can get yourself out of it. Your body will respond to the the thoughts that you're sending, the messages that you're sending out to your own body. So I, just a quick aside, but it is sort of going back to the relationship that I have with God. So I I said that I speak to him somewhat roughly, but sometimes I don't even need to go down that path. I just say, don't even think about it. So like this morning, I get up and right, let me show you my legs. This is the legs of somebody that doesn't exercise. That whatever. See, look at my legs. See, there's nothing jiggling, and I haven't exercised, right? That is the deal that I've made with God. You look after me, and I'll do whatever it is that you would like me to do for you, right? So you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So it's literally that. If you don't have anything to offer, why are you begging him? What do you think? Just because you are his child that you get something for nothing? No, even little children do tasks around the house, help their parents, and get rewarded with pocket money. You don't get something for nothing. So that is just a small good morning, how are you video, and I am off on my travels. So you guys take care, and I'm sure I'll have more tales to tell later. So, but in the meantime, feast on that.